let's do it. Once again, I've been putting off doing this all night. I want to thank the vendor for the hookup. Had my eye on them for a while. And what we have here are a batch of Marx toys on a 54mm or 60mm Apollo astronauts. It's a very waxy, bright orange color. And the reason to get it was this dude here. The floating away dude. And I finally have a decent condition square scoop guy. This is the creek float astronaut that survived creek float this summer. And we got an orange camera guy. I think that's the first of him. Digging in the dirt. And the hammer dude. And I got out the others. Figured we'd take a look at him here. Yep, that's my first orange camera guy. There's a digger. And there's the hammer dude. But for months, I've been shopping quietly for the one that I got originally. Somebody's twisted off the scoop. And I'm actually preparing an extensive blog post on the poor fate of the square scoop guy. It's a rarity to find him with his scoop completely intact, and this vendor had the right price, and he also had the floating away dude, which is my favorite of all of the Apollo Marx astronauts. And of course, the Marx Apollo astronauts first appeared in 1970 in a 6-inch size, cast in blue and white, but for right now, we're just concerning ourselves with the smaller playset size figures, which first appeared in white casting in the giant Martian landing set from 1972, and then in white and orange in the Galaxy Command set. I want to say that was 1978, and then finally in orange only in the Star Station 7 collection from 1979, which I think was one of the last sets that Marx released, and it was pretty weak actually compared to the legacy of Operation Moonbase. And as usual, take a look at other pieces from the history of Marx. This floating away motif goes back at least to the Tom Corbett Rex Mars era. And here's an Operation Moonbase dude in the same configuration, basically. And, you know, I figured we'd take another opportunity to once again help people figure out or discern the difference between the Marx astronauts and other people's astronauts. And indeed, the Operation Moonbase figures from 1962 are, you know, it's easy to say something like that's the epitome, the prototype of the plastic space figures that came after it, but it's actually not that far off the mark. And a way to demonstrate it is this likewise floating away camera guy. If we look at the bottom, the Operation Moonbase figures will all have 2 notches in their base, and there's the 2 notches on that guy. And lo and behold, I picked up one from someone. I didn't even know that's what it was. It was clipped off of his base. And next to it is an orange MPC spaceman. Those date to 1963. And I can see how someone would get confused. Main difference between them is that the Marx guy has no oxygen tanks, and the MPC guys has their classic diver tanks with the skin-tight flight uniform that would not get you very far in a vacuum. And then behind them, Here's another Operation Moonbase guy. He really kind of throws a monkey wrench in it. He's in a similar pose to the rope and sextant, or rope and triangle guy, as I call it, next to him by MPC. Again, we got the 2 notches on the base of the Marx. MPC guy has its MPC logo there, which again means multiple product company, not Marx Plastic Company. An easy mistake to make and easy to get confused between the two. They both got their leg up in the air, and this one is the only, I believe it's the only one of the Operation Moonbase figures to have the air tanks on the back. And MPC certainly picked up on that. He's even got a hose, no tools, but there he is sort of in motion, and you can easily tell the Marx figure because he's got that nicely sculpted bit of terrain. The MPC guy has a chunk that he's standing on, but again, they're different figures. The silver one came first. The blue one isn't so much a copy of it as it is inspired by it. They sensed a good thing and made millions of them. I want to say more of the Blue Guys series were made than the Silver Guys series, although the Silver Guys Operation Moonbase set the tone for it all. Next to it is a classic MPC Geiger counter guy in a nice creamy orange. His MPC logo there, multiple products company using the shelf name, multiple toy makers, and next to him is a To Me Toys Galaxy Laser Team Geiger counter guy, and then their other astronaut from Galaxy Laser Team. To Me only made these 2 poses of suited spacemen for their Galaxy Laser Team, and I know that this one exists in a 5-inch character as well. I'm not sure if they made a large Geiger counter guy. If they did, I gotta have it. But there again, you can see that they're somewhat different. The To Me guy in purple is at least wearing an EVA suit of some sort. I think it looks more like a Project Gemini suit, and he's got the PLSS backpack on rather than the diver tanks on the other guy. And then that's their other astronaut holding his lunchbox. Now up in front of them here are the pilot figures, which is another they're very, very similar between Marx and MPC. The blue figure is by MPC. The 2 red figures are by Marx. And the easiest way to distinguish them is that the Marx figures will always have this arm held up in kind of the Werner von Braun pose there with his shoulder brace on, where the MPC guys have their arms at their side. The figure was included in silver with Operation Moonbase, and both red and silver in a capsule. He'd fit into a seat inside of it. I believe that first appeared in the Cape Canaveral sets, was carried over into Operation Moonbase, and here he is. This is my silver Operation Moonbase pilot sitter figure. The dark blue pilot is by MPC. The one in the middle is a very strange little figure. It's an Ancient Mariner provided him to me, and he's a copy by someone. You can sort of see how he's markedly smaller than the other 2, and look at how his face got all squashed up. It's kind of weird. It almost looks like a space chimp. But again, the form is very similar. Telling them apart comes down to subtleties that I don't think most casual consumers can even be bothered to keep track of. But for collectors, the Marx sitting pilot figure will have his arm out. MPC guys will have them at their side. I think the Space Bucket pilot has his arms down at his side as well, but I'll have to dig. We'll take a look at pilots some other time. And Apple, by the way, deleted some of my video on me, so we're missing my closing segment. Look at your base markings. The Marx Apollo guys will all have the Marx logo there, I believe, with a 1970 date on it. Copies will just have an empty bare circle, but they're very different in form than the MPC and Timmy guys for that matter. There's size difference between the Marx and Timmy. Geiger counter dude, and I'm not sure what else to say. Oh yeah, these white guys here, or these walking guys with the ring hands. There's supposed to be a box that they're carrying between them, and I would love to have one. If anybody's got one that they can let go of, give me a shout. Floating off dudes rule. Glad I got my square scoop guy in orange, and a couple of him to spare in white. There's the iconic flag dude. The white 6-inch figures actually came before any of the smaller ones were released. Someone's going to have to run me through how they changed the sizes of pieces. Do they make a whole new casting for the smaller size? So the dates on the Apollo 54mm astronauts are 1972 for Giant Martian Landing, 1978 for Galaxy Command, and then 1979 for Star Station 7. I'm still trying to remember what we lost on the clip that Apple deleted. Other than these things are cool, or I wouldn't bother with them.